Hey, Chanel.
Hey, LeTonya. Let me paint some people in.
All right. So yeah, make sure, ladies, that you ping some people in. I ping some people. I'm getting ready to ping some more people as well.
Hey, Donna.
Hey, Donna.
I couldn't say hi from down there. I was saying it.
Well, we definitely appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you for saying it. Chanel, I'm going to go ahead and actually get started just so we can keep time. Okay, welcome everyone to the Intentional Change Club. I'm LeTonya Moore. I am an attorney and a business growth strategist. I work with product-based businesses, essentially showing you how to get from the kitchen shelf to the retail shelf. I'm really excited because this is our opportunity to really talk about and share some of the pitfalls, some of the mistakes that our retail businesses make. I do want to let you guys know I have a 3-day retail accelerator challenge, a free challenge at the end of the month. You can definitely head over to my IG bio and click the link. You can sign up to be a part of that. But today I do want to talk about those some of those 5 mistakes that retail businesses make. And also you can, if you have questions, certainly please raise your hand. I want you to come up to the stage and make sure that you ask those questions. Before I move forward though, I would like to introduce my co-moderator, Chanel Evans, or Chanel, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, LeTonya, for the space. I'm actually looking forward to learning from you with this topic as well. But my name's Chanel. I work with coaches and consultants, business coaches and consultants, and help them grow their visibility, show up for their clients, and bring more business into their coaching programs through the leveraging social media. So women will hire me if they are spinning their wheels on what to convert, how to make it convert, or they'll hire me if they're in the process of launching a new program or a service and they want to sell it out and pack it out. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the topic. Thanks, LeTonya.
Awesome, my pleasure. So these guys are not in any certain order, but I definitely want to just go over some just very quickly. Of course, in our masterclass, in our accelerator, in our challenge, we're going to talk a lot more in detail, but just to give you some just an overview tonight. So one of them, I know that one of the things we always hear about our when we're doing our business is understanding who your client is, right? Understanding who your client avatar is. And that is one of the 5 biggest mistakes, is not knowing your customer well or not having a clearly defined niche market. Who do you serve? So many times, even with the clients that we deal with, we always hear, well, anybody can use my product, or everybody drinks this. Everybody uses lotion, right? Everybody uses toothpaste. Everybody uses this. Everybody uses that. Yeah, everybody uses it. However, who are you specifically going after? That is essential for you to understand. We see this time and time again where people, they just have no idea who their exact customer is. You need to be able to know where they shop, where they go, what types of things they're interested in. I always ask my clients, do you see your product in Walmart, or do you see it in, let's say, Trader Joe's, right? Or Whole Foods, or some of those other grocery stores, right? Where do you see your product? because each one of those, although you can go and get similar products, the demographic there is totally different. The people that shop at Trader Joe's are different from the people that shop at Whole Foods and are different from the people that shop at, let's say, the Walmart grocery store. It's essential that you understand and know your customers' buying habits, what they like, where they shop, and quite frankly, do they like convenience? Do they like one-stop shop, or do they like more of a boutique style experience? That is very important for you to know, because that's going to drive a lot about how you present your product in the marketplace. The second one is failing to have like proper inventory management. One of the things that I absolutely hate myself, just as a consumer, is going to a website, looking for that product that I love, and it's almost like it's sold out perpetually, right? A lot of retail brands have been able to get away with, oh, it's COVID, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. But a lot of these folks were having these challenges even before COVID. You have to make sure that you have proper inventory management. You need to know when you need to restock, right? You need to know, is there something comparable that you can offer the customer if for some reason that product is not available, right? There's some strategies certainly around dealing with that so that the impact is not as great. But essentially, when we're thinking about some of the biggest mistakes, not paying attention to data, not paying attention to the inventory, not paying attention to what your customer experience is like, kind of moving into number 3, and that's really taking your customers for granted. Oftentimes people really focus too much on competitors, right? What is my competition doing? And they're driving their product decisions based on what the competitor is doing. When oftentimes, if you just listen to your customer and you just continue to nurture your niche market, you don't have to be so overly concerned about what the competition is doing, because quite frankly, you will have brand loyalty to the point that you really won't have any competition. So those are my 3 tops that I just essentially loathe, right? Because I see it so much. People are making these decisions because they're like, oh, well, my competitor put up a discount, so I'm going to now do a discount, or my competitor is doing a flash sale or something to that effect. The worst thing that you can do is offer too many discounts. And this is really across the board. If people know, like, oh, okay, well, in 2 days, it's going to be 20% off. I've done it. I've gone and I've said, okay, I'm not going to buy this because soon it's going to be Black Friday. And so I'm going to try to get it at a sale, right? Customers do that all the time. And if you're constantly offering discounts, if you're constantly offering your product at a lower price point, why would they buy it at the price point that you originally thought about, right? You originally put out there. So you really have to ask yourself, why are you, well, let me put it like this. Why are you offering so many discounts? Because that's always the question that we ask. So why are you doing all these sales on top of sales, discounts on top of discounts? Because all that's doing is cutting into your profitability and cutting into your profit margin. I want to take a second though, and I want to reset the room. I'm LeTonya Moore. I'm an attorney and a business growth strategist. We actually work with retail-based businesses, helping them get from the kitchen shelf to the store shelves. My co-moderator here is Chanel Evans. Chanel, I'd like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself for the people who just joined.
Yeah, this is a really good topic. My name is Chanel, and I work with business coaches and help them grow their visibility so they can stay in front of the eyes of their dream clients and bring more business into their coaching programs. So yeah, looking forward to, this is a really good topic. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. And you also have your challenge coming up too. So you want to mention that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a 3-day retail accelerator challenge for those of you that have product-based businesses and you are looking to get your product to market. That could be regular retail or big box stores at the end of the month. And you can actually go to my IG. You can go to my IG. In the bio, there is a link that you can click. You can join the challenge. It's free. It's going to be the 28th through the 30th of the month. So I'm very excited about that. Certainly let others know who have product-based businesses that do have aspirations for getting their products to store shelves. Tonight, we are talking about 5 of the biggest mistakes that retail businesses make. We talked about number 1, which is failing to have a clearly defined niche market. We talked about number 2, poor inventory management and not paying attention to data. We also talked about number 3, essentially taking your customers for granted and not focusing on creating brand loyalty, but focusing on the competition. We also talked about offering too many discounts, right? When you dilute your product, right, and create like a discount frenzy, it actually is a turnoff for customers. The other thing, and I'll say the last thing, is really trying to do too much on your own and failing to kind of adapt and evolve. A lot of times we see small business owners, we see our business or our products as our babies. And so we want to always protect it. We want to just, keep it very, very small. And we don't think about ways that we need to grow, ways that we need to change, ways that we need to evolve to actually ride the wave of the market. And that is a big problem, right? We all know what happened to Blockbuster, right? Just quick story, if you don't, before Netflix went out on their own, they actually approached Blockbuster to partner with them, and they essentially laughed them out of the room. So I ask you, who's laughing now, right? Because what Netflix saw was a change in the market. They saw that there was a shift in the market, but Blockbuster wanted to continue to do what they were doing the whole time. And now they're essentially obsolete. And I think the one store that is still there is like a museum, right? Which is why they still have customers. So you want to make sure that you're not so set in your ways, that you're not open to counsel. You're not open to bringing on a team. A team is essential. When you try to do everything by yourself, there is no way that you're going to be successful on your own. The self-made person really is a facade, right? Because there's no self-made person that never had help. There's no self-made success story, right? And in order to be able to scale, which, that's the word of the day, in order to be able to scale, you must bring on the right team. So I just want to go over the 5 again, and I'm going to open it up for questions. Make sure if you have questions, you can send me the question through the back channel, or you can raise your hand. So again, no certain order. 5 biggest mistakes: not knowing your customer well or having a undefined niche market, poor inventory management, not being data driven, taking employees for granted and focusing too much on the competition, and trying to do too much on your own and failing to adapt and evolve. If you have questions, anybody have questions, welcome to the stage.
So LeTonya, one of the things that I asked, I'll ask a question. One of the things that you and I chatted about that I'm curious, because I'm starting to see, now with the holidays coming up, last year, COVID probably caught everybody off guard, and we weren't able to get materials in, slow shipping time. So how are you advising your clients to be able to, one of your key points was being able to manage your inventory, but given that a lot of people are going to be shopping online this year, how do you recommend that your clients go about just preparing for the holiday season? And we know that it's going to look a little bit different than it has in the past. So how are you advising your clients to prep for the holidays?
That is a great question, Chanel. Thank you so much for asking that. one of the biggest pieces of advice that I give is you have to add additional inventory, right? Beyond what you would have done pre-COVID. One, you have to start earlier. Like I've been talking to clients since March or April about getting ready for the Christmas rush, just because there's a backlog on everything. What you used to be able to get in a day or two is taking weeks. What you used to be able to get in weeks is taking months to get. And so one of the things that you can do is that. The other thing too, especially if you are typically getting your products, let's say from a foreign country where it has to come through customs. One of the things that I've been advising people to do is get a US based backup, right? Is it going to be more expensive? Absolutely. But you have to ask yourself, is it worth it to potentially lose loyal customers because I don't have the inventory? Or can I take a little bit of a hit on profits so that I can make sure that I have it? And why do you want to choose the latter? You want to choose the latter because what people are going to do is they're going to tell other people, if you're looking for X, go to so-and-so's website because they have it in stock. People do it all the time. Any other questions?
Hey, Nicole, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, Janelle. Hey, Jerry, Leroy, Pat. Hey, Kathina, Damien. Anybody have any questions? Damien, I know you got a product. I know you got a question.
I want to ask you a question in reference to building a team, right? So majority of the time when you create a team from the start, they may not be able to get paid. You may not have that budget to actually incorporate that right in the start of it, or how early on you bring your team on. How do you go about creating that team without having a budget to actually pay to maybe get them to do the job with the same type of energy that you were doing it, or with the same type of motivation and determination behind doing it without having a check or whatever attached to it?
That is an awesome question. There's a couple of ways that I think that you definitely can do it. You want to ask yourself, what do you have of value that you could exchange with that person? It could be access. A list is very valuable. Access to customers is very valuable. Some people may even want you to coach them, especially if you are an expert in an area that they're trying and they need that assistance. Another thing that you can also do is you can offer equity. Now, most people don't want to do that, right? They don't want to offer an equity stake. But I've seen a lot of startups start with offering an equity stake. And for those of you that may not know much about that, that's basically offering a piece of ownership. And, it doesn't have to be 20%, 30%. Like I've seen people come on and work very hard for 2%, 3%. Now, in order to make that attractive, right? They need to know, okay, how much, what's the vision of this? How much do you see that this is going to grow? So they can say, okay, it makes sense for me to come in and work and help build this, because if I can help build this, then I'll have an ownership interest. Does that make sense?
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't get off of mute. Yes, absolutely. Just basically more so the incentive of why they should continue, even if it's not a price tag. Yes, definitely. I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, because what you're doing when you do that, you are offering them something that still has a monetary value. So people aren't working for free, right? They're working to get something that's valuable to them. And I will say this though, that's something that you want to tell people kind of upfront, right? You want to talk to them upfront about, okay, would you like to, how would you like to do this? Because you want to be very clear that, you're offering an alternative that has a monetary value, but it may not be direct payment. So that's also something. So I have a question here. Damien says his next move for his product would be getting a UPC barcode I'm not sure the process on that. Have you gone through, well, he's sending a back channel, so I'm not sure that he can actually he can actually talk, because I guess I'm trying to figure out, you know, like where you're selling it through, right? Because like, for example, depending on, okay, here we go. Trying to get that. Okay, Damien.
So, so right now I'm just selling it off my website right now. It's my own line of seasonings, right? So I'm selling it off but just off my website. It's word of mouth right now. But the reviews I'm getting, and I keep selling out. Every time I make a batch, I sell out. In a week or two. And now people are hitting me up like, bro, you need to send this to ATB. You need to send this to here. You need to send this to there. Because it's good, and we think it can do well. But I know in order to do that, they got to have that barcode and whatever other process they may have. But I know that barcode is very important as well. So that's the next step, is just get that process done. So that'll be done. Then when I have to mass produce it or scale up, then I can maybe find a co-packer and all this kind of stuff. But I always have that portion that there, and I researched it, but it's so difficult. It's so confusing because I don't know who's reputable. I don't know who's that, who's this, and so that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, one of the things that you can do is you can work back, because I always talk about consumables, right? Consumables are very tricky because of course there's some FDA regulation connected to it. There are places, the UPC code, guys, is just like almost like the ISBN number, right? For those of us that are authors. And so there are several places that you can get it from, but it really depends on how many products you're going to have. That's going to determine the fees. How you have to renew it. You have to make sure you keep it current, and all of that. So it really just depends on exactly what else you're actually doing, but you have to register, right? And then you have to have a different UPC code for every product, even if it's the same product, but it's different sizes and different weights. Or like if let's say you're doing seasonings, they may all be, 4 ounces, but you may have 5 different varieties where you have to have 5 UPC codes, for that purpose. But it's really like anywhere else. I mean, you just have to, go online and you have to purchase those codes. I would have to research like what would be some good ones, some good reputable ones, to companies to go to purchase that. But basically you just, get online but you want to make sure that you have all of your stuff together, because it's better if you got 20 items, even if they're not ready right now. It's better to batch buy than to wait, wait too late, because you may have to pay more money, if that makes sense. Does that help?
Yep. Makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Any other questions? We're talking about the 5 biggest mistakes that retail businesses make. Well, all right, Chanel. Oh, welcome, Tiffany. Chanel, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna just ask one last question before you wrap up. Harris brought up a good point just about budgeting and making sure that you have the appropriate funds to be able to hire staff. But if you wanted to touch on, I'm sure another mistake that retail businesses make, or all businesses make, is that we under budget ourselves. So if you wanted to touch on just that, the overall like budgeting standpoint, or like from a financial standpoint, I know you'll cover a lot more in the challenge, but maybe if you could just touch on that piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And just very quickly, guys, you can go to my Instagram bio. Chanel mentioned the challenge. At the end of the month, there is the 3-day challenge, the Retail Accelerator. It's a free challenge to sign up to learn more about getting your product from the kitchen shelf to the store shelves. But as it relates to funding, there's so many different ways that you can fund your business, even if it's a startup. The biggest thing really comes down to understanding how much money you need. And so not just the budget for the business, but also the operations part, because your startup budget is going to be different from your operations budget. And a lot of people kind of don't get that. They think like, oh, well, I just, if I can just get 10 grand, or if I can just get this, that may be what you need right now. But then what's the plan for that money, right? Are you going to be utilizing that to purchase equipment, which is static? Or are you going to be utilizing that money for marketing, which should bring in sales, which should bring you more money, right? So you have to always think about budget in terms of not just what you need right now to pay bills, but what you also need to grow your business. Some of the ways, just very quickly, that people do fund their business is, everybody heard of bootstrapping, right? So you just, whatever you got in your pocket, you put in your business. Whatever you have, like literally whatever you have in your pocket, that's what you use. Some people get loans from friends or family to kind of help them get started. Some people go to friends and families for investors. Some people do, some people use personal credit cards or business credit cards. There are also grants out there. We talked about things like bank loans, SBA. There's some online banks that do lending for small businesses. If you're pitching like to investors, or if you're doing any like pitch competitions, oftentimes there's some monetary value there. If you're doing like any type of venture capitalist, that's when you're talking about the millions and millions and millions that you need. Same thing with family office financing. Family office investing. Again, those are higher ticket investments. That's not going to be your 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, probably not even 10 million, right? Those are going to be much more higher end. The last one, which is my personal favorite, is crowdfunding. I'm a huge proponent of crowdfunding, especially when you're not talking about debt. For those of you that have followed me or been in rooms, we've talked about some successful crowdfunding campaigns that my clients have had. And we've worked very hard to get them there. So I definitely think funding is huge. Build a relationship with the banker, with the financier, and it doesn't have to be a banker. That's why I want to say a financier, someone that has access to capital or can help you get access to capital when you need it. There are lots of ways, of course, we could brainstorm all day about getting access to capital. But the starting point is fully understanding how much money you need to operate and grow the business. That's going to be your key starting point. One of the days in the challenge, we are going to be talking about capital. We are going to be talking about things like understanding how much money you need, understanding price is so important, right? I have a client that I'm working with right now, and all of my clients will tell you the same thing. I take them through a process where we break down everything to the nth, to the nth degree, because that's going to give you your true profit, especially when you're talking about pitching investors, or you're talking about pitching some of these top retailers or some of these big box stores. They want to know, what is your cost? For those of you that have ever watched Shark Tank, it's never an episode where they don't ask them, what is your cost to make this? What are you selling it for? What they're asking is, they're trying to determine what the profit margin is, right? These are some of the things that you can look at. If you watch Shark Tank, don't watch it for entertainment. Watch it for the questions that the sharks are asking, and then ask those same questions of your business, right? How much does it cost to make, right? Because oftentimes people just say, oh, well, I think this cost me $5, and they're selling it for $10. It's not a good profit margin, especially in a product-based business. So you have to think about You definitely have to think about that, but you have to start with how much money you need, what's the raw cost of your product, and then what's the markup in the market. How much can you mark it up in the market so that you can turn a good profit based on your industry? So I hope that answers your question.
No, that was really good. And I know, like I said, I know that you'll be expanding upon it in the challenge, but I felt it in my spirit that somebody in the audience had a question about money. So that's why I wanted to bring that part up.
Well, I'm definitely glad you did. And for those of you that are just joining us, I'm LeTonya Moore. I'm an attorney and I'm also a business growth strategist. We work with product-based businesses to help them get their products from the kitchen shelf to the store shelves. We are doing a 3-day, normally it's 5 day, doing a 3-day challenge at the end of the month. So definitely go to my Clubhouse bio, go all the way down to the IG, click that, and then in my Instagram bio, there is a direct link where you can sign up for the challenge. The challenge is free. And we are going to be talking about capital funding. We are going to be talking about things about like how to view your competition, how to understand how to position yourself in the market, actually so that so that you can dominate, right? And we are going to be talking about some key things and some core things that you need to know if your goal is to get your product to direct retail. You really need to know this even if you're selling direct from your website, because oftentimes people that are selling directly from their website, they aren't in compliance, right? And there are a lot of things that they don't have in place that they need to have in place really to protect their business, especially if they're looking to grow and scale. I'll do a call for questions one more time before we do last thoughts and close out the room. Any other questions, you can hit me on the back channel or you can raise your hand if you have a question. All right, so Chanel, do you have any last words? And then I'll close it out.
No, this was great. So make sure everyone, we're also in LeTonya's club, the Intentional Change. They host a number of rooms throughout the week designed to just really help you level up, because that's what we're all trying to do, right? So make sure that you follow the little green house above my head, the Intentional Change Club. Make sure you're following that. And then make sure you're following both of us. LeTonya hosts rooms throughout the week as well, designed to help you market your business. So this was a really good topic, and make sure that you're following both of us, but click the bell by LeTonya's name once you click her profile, because then you'll be notified anytime that we have rooms and anytime that she's hosting topics based on retail businesses. So thanks, LeTonya, for the space. I'm looking forward to the next few rounds of rooms as well.
Thank you so much for co-modding tonight, Chanel. I really appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Like Chanel said, I will be hosting. She's going to host. Make sure that you follow us. And so if there is nothing else, I am going to end the room in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew.